Alright, welcome back if you watched my other video, and if not, just welcome for the first time. I just put these new Xprite, Xprite LED headlights in, and they're awesome. Feels like you're driving a brand new car in the dark now. Highly recommend doing it. These have a daytime running light, which turns on automatically when you just plug it in, but I'm going to wire it up to behave like a daytime running light. I've seen a couple ways to do this on YouTube. The way I'm going to do it is with a fuse tap into the fuse box here in the engine bay. And I've seen some suggestions on how to do it or what fuse to use, but I saw, I forget who it is, but I saw on here that you can do the fuel injector fuse, which is fuse 26. There's this 20 up here. So I'm just going to tap into that fuse, run a wire out of the fuse box, and then I got a bunch of spade connectors, which these headlights come with, you can see it right there, come with a female spade connector. So I'm just going to run a wire between the two headlights. So the driver's side one here. And then use a wire tap and connect to the butt connector of the fuse tap. So here we go. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so if you've never seen one, this is a fuse tap. It just plugs right into your fuse box, and you put the fuse that was in that position in the first set of plugs here. Then it comes with whatever, I think you can get whatever amp you need, but you just need, I think you probably can even do a 10 since these are LEDs, but 15 amp fuse, and then it's just got a butt connector on the other end you can crimp to. So super easy to add a fuse to your car. Get them on Amazon, just like anything else in the world. For this type of wiring I'm doing, if you don't have one, you need a set of wire crimpers. Super cheap, just go to the hardware store. I also have a pair of these just for a wire stripper. I already had these, but I didn't have a crimper, and the only crimper the hardware store also had a stripper on it as well. So, but anyways, I don't have two wire strippers, but these also have a nice plier at the end of them. Yeah. So that comes in handy. So anyways, wire strippers, wire crimpers are what you need for this. And then I just got a spool of 16 gauge wire. Again, easy to find, Amazon, hardware store, wherever you want to shop. And then these are spade connectors. I got a bag of females here and a bag of male ends. Super cheap. They come in like packs of like a million, so just got these on Amazon. They're like a couple bucks. And then this is a wire tap. I had never seen these before, but I'm going to give them a try because it looks really easy, straightforward. What you do is they have different sizes for these, but this is for a 14 to 16 gauge wire. Stick the wire in there so it cuts through the casing, makes contact with the wire, and then you close it up. All right. And then it comes with a bunch of male spade connectors, and that plugs in the back here, and then you run your wire from that. So should make it really easy to just tap into the fuse box, run a wire from there, and then use the wire tap on the wire that connects the two headlights together. So that's the plan, and here we go. So like I said, I use a fuse tap in the fuel injector spot here. Again, that's If you have a 2000, this is a 2000 Jeep Wrangler TJ. It'll be spot 26. I've seen this done on TJs on YouTube with newer ones. I think starting in 01 or 02, maybe 03. I'm not really sure. The fuse box has a different layout, so it might be different for you. I've seen people having to run a wire into the fuse box behind the glove box and plug into the instrument cluster fuse. But either way, you can use a wire tap to do it that way too. It's just easier to use this box if you can, so you don't have to go through the firewall and use a lot of this wire. But anyway, so this will go into the fuel injector spot. You can see I have the 20 amp fuse for it in the first plug, and the new 15 amp, which will run the daytime running lights. So plug that right into the box, like so. Next, you get a chunk of wire. Leave yourself some length just for routing the wire wherever you want to. I'm using black just because it looks better, I think. It won't stand out. You get a big red wire running across your radiator, or some people run it underneath. I think I'm just going to go right across the top and make sure I'm not in the way of the hood latch. But that should be easiest. So yeah, then you just strip the end. I've already done it on this end, and put a male spade connector on the end and crimp it down nice and tight. I'll do the other end and hook them together here. There we go. We got both ends with a male spade connector. These are nice and insulated. As far as like weatherproofing and waterproofing goes, you can also get some heat shrink or electrical tape, whatever you want. I'm just going to use electrical tape. Like I said in my first video, I don't do any like crazy off-roading or anything, so if you do, you want something like really nice and waterproof, so you can get some heat shrink or whatever. These are already pre-insulated, so that's kind of nice. But yeah, so these are nice and crimped on there now. I'm just going to plug them into the female ends that are on the headlights themselves and connect them together. Okay, I've got this chunk of wire connected to the DRL lead that comes out of the headlight itself. That's that red wire there. You just plug it right in. I'm using the spade connector. Run the wire over the top here, and then there's these two holes. You can go down right underneath this piece of metal here, right behind the grill. There's a nice little rail back there, and I'll tighten everything up and use some zip ties. But yeah, I was going to go down through that hole. I'll tighten this up so it doesn't sag through the grill there. I'll just come out through that one. And then it runs over here and it's connected to this DRL lead on the passenger side. And now it's time for the wire tap. Pulled a bunch of slack out of the wire using this, so I'm probably just going to run it down the side of the engine bay here with some zip ties, but I'm going to put this wire tap in, and like I showed you earlier, this will slip right into the channel there. This is totally removable. If you ever want to remove it, just pop it open and you can just re-insulate the wire. It doesn't cut the wire at all, so it's kind of nice. But yeah, so we'll just tap into the wire right here and run that over to the fuse tap with another chunk of 16 gauge wire. And so here's what it looks like with the wire running through the tap. The edges of the inside of the wire tap aren't sharp, obviously, because you don't want to cut the wire. So what I did was I just took the wire stripper and just clamped down on it to cut through the insulation, and then just slid it into there. Yeah, so you can see the bare wire making contact with the inside of the wire tap, just like that. stick it down in that notch and then you close it up. Alright, so here it is with the wire tap clamped onto the wire. When you clamp it down, it makes a nice solid connection in there. And then you just put this spade connector into the back of it. And that is what that looks like. See, the spade connector is down inside the slot in the back of the wire tap. After that, you get another chunk of wire and cut it to the length you need to run from the fuse box. Also, I'm running the wire out of this end of the fuse box because there's room on this end for when the lid closes. Everything fits nice and tight still. So I'm going to run it around the fuse box and over to the wire tap we just put in. Okay, this black piece of wire here is crimped into our wire tap on this end. Runs around the back of the fuse box and into the end of the fuse tap, like this. So now we have all the wiring connected from the fuse tap around into the wire that connects the two DRL leads on the headlights, like so. And everything's connected, so we're gonna try it out and see if this works. If it works, the lights should come on when you turn the key for a second, and then they'll shut back off because the power to the fuel injector shuts off after a few seconds if the key is just on and the engine isn't running. But then once you start it and the engine's running, they should be on the entire time. So we'll give that a shot right now. Okay, so as you saw there, they actually didn't come on when the key was just in the on position, which is actually kind of nice, because it won't drain your battery if your key is on. Not that it would all that much because they're LEDs, but the reason I said that is because in the video I watched where they put the fuse tap in the fuel injector fuse, the lights did come on for a few seconds when the key was just in the on position without the Jeep running. But as you saw there, once I started it up, just the DRL ring around the outside turned on. And then I went through all the light cycles, low beams, high beams, parking lights, and fog lights. And everything worked really well. Yeah, so now I'm gonna tape everything up, make it as waterproof as I can, and zip tie all the wires in place and make it look real nice and neat. Alright, everything is tied up and a spot where it's not going to interfere with anything. Taped up, goes right into the fuse box right there, and fuse box latches, it doesn't bind or anything. So there's space to run the wire out through that shroud at the end. Yeah, and then just run underneath here. There's already a wire conduit behind the hood latch. Where the hood latch goes in, if you feel in there, there's already wire back there, so I just ran it behind that pin. If you feel up in there, so it's out of the way of the latch. Comes out right there. It's tied in right here to the other light. So everything's all nice and neat, and that is how you do that. Hope that helped everybody. And if you tackle this project yourself, have fun. Little Jeep projects are always really rewarding. So, yep, have fun with your Jeep, and see you next time.